What is up, everyone? I am Kimmy Chex, and I am joined with two legends and friends, Marcus Grant and Adam Rank. It is free agency time. It's crazy. It's a frenzy. But we want to talk the best fantasy fits. Let's start off with the quarterback position. OG, QB, TB12. Adam Rank, where do you see Tom Brady fitting in the best for fantasy next season?
This is the biggest domino, and when it falls, he's going to be in New England. Listen, Tom Brady and I, same age. We're a couple of boomers. You know what boomers hate? Change. Well, I don't want to change my computer. They made me do that last week. I hated it. I had to change my phone. I don't want to go and update it. My clock has still not changed from daylight savings time. We don't like this. He is not going to go and learn a brand new offense. This is just the kind of posturing that you do when you want a deal, when you want to get more money. Tom Brady has done right by this Patriots organization. For the last number of years, he just wants a little bit of money. The thing is, though, as much as we love him, Tom Brady, greatest quarterback in NFL history, but fantasy-wise, hasn't been that great. And unless they surround him with a lot of talent, I don't think he's going to be very fantasy relevant this season.
All right, so you see TB12 walking back into Gillette Stadium. Marcus, what is the best fantasy fit, and is Tom Brady fantasy relevant if he goes somewhere else?
Look, I know for us olds that change is hard, that you don't like to do it, but you know what else is also hard for us olds? Finding new friends. It's hard to make friends as a grown-up, right? So you keep your circle smaller. So what happens when all your friends leave one place? You go and you cling to your old friends, right? So that means going down to Tennessee, where his old buddy Mike Vrabel is hanging out. I mean, I think it's a really good fit there. You talk about being in a situation where you've got weapons around you, right? If the Titans can bring back Derrick Henry, maybe on a franchise tag, what have you, they'll have a solid running back there. They've got a good offensive line. They've got a good young wide receiver in A.J. Brown. Maybe even Corey Davis can become a thing if you get Tom Brady there. Ryan Tannehill was good, but he was outrageously efficient last year. It's hard to think he's going to be able to do that again. Tom Brady might not be the guy he was 4 or 5 years ago, but he's still a very efficient quarterback who can buy time in the pocket, who can distribute the football. And yes, maybe this doesn't make him a fantasy superstar again, but it does elevate a lot of the guys around him and makes him a little bit more attractive to us.
And I think, one thing that Tom Brady was really upset with last season is that he did not feel like he had the right offensive targets with the Patriots. But a lot of people are kind of thinking the Titans may be the fit that he's looking for.
They're trolling. That, first of all, that's a classic troll move.
Like you would know about that.
Tom Brady, yeah, exactly. But he loves to do that. He had an Instagram post before the Super Bowl. It was an ad. Like, this all leads me to believe that he just wants people to think that maybe he's going to leave. He probably feels a little taken advantage of by the New England Patriots because for years he's taken less money to make that team competitive. How did they reward him last year? By making his number 2 receiver Philip Dorsett. Like, that's the kind, like, I'd be mad too. I'd be like, oh, you don't think I'm going to leave? I'll call Mike Vrabel right now. I'll FaceTime with him.
I'll do it.
That way, what he wants, I think, is to come back to New England. They want them to add a couple of pieces, and then, everything will be fine. He doesn't want to leave. I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw on the internet, so it's got to be true. He still wears the same shoulder pads he's been wearing since 2001. Dude doesn't want to change.
Yeah, that's because you boomers, you guys don't want to change. You guys don't want to get hip with the new times. But
I'm wearing a vest.
Calm down. Speaking of the non-boomers, let's move on to Jameis Winston. Marcus, I want to start it off with you. Jameis, he now has 20/20 vision. Right? He's got LASIK. He went 30 for 30 touchdowns and interceptions. What does that mean for him in free agency?
I think the best place for him to go would be out here to L.A. and come be with the Chargers. And you mentioned it, right? He's gonna have 20/20 for 2020. So hopefully he doesn't go 30 for 30 again. Look, I know it seems weird that the Chargers would get rid of one quarterback that threw a lot of interceptions and then replace him with another quarterback that throws a lot of interceptions. But I think the biggest difference is Jameis is still a little bit more mobile than Philip Rivers, than Philip Rivers ever was, but certainly more mobile than Philip Rivers is now. So if things break down in the pocket, you can see Jameis kind of move around, buy some time, maybe even scramble a little bit and get the ball downfield. On top of that, you put him in LA, he's got more depth of targets to throw to, right? Last year, it was essentially just Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They absorbed about 40% of their targets.
Those are good options.
They are good options. But you know what? He's going to have Keenan Allen out here. He'll have Mike Williams. He'll potentially have Hunter Henry if the Chargers can bring him back. They just signed Austin Eckler to a big contract. So they've got more guys to throw it to than just the two he had in Tampa.
One thing that I do want to mention with the Chargers, and I kind of like this fit for Jameis Winston as well, is that they have the 6th pick in the first round of this upcoming draft. So if they do have Jameis Winston and they pass on a college quarterback, that then means that they can draft an offensive lineman to kind of help Jameis and protect him when he is in those pocket situations and make sure some of those defenses can't get to him. But Adam Rank, what do you think?
Can I say a couple of things? First of all, I would take Chris Godwin and Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans over Keenan Allen and whoever the other guy is.
Mike Williams?
Okay, that's spicy.
Dude, Mike Evans is way better than Mike Williams. It's not even close.
Well,
Number
yes,
two,
but there's more depth.
Did Hunter Henry go to Harvard? No. So obviously Jameis Winston's not going to be throwing him the football. That's why I say he's got to stick in Tampa Bay. I know that Bruce Arians came out during the combine and said he had a kind of a love-hate relationship with Jameis Winston. Is like, yeah, we love the 5,000 passing yards. We love the 30 touchdowns, but we hate those interceptions. And it's like, look, everybody's got their faults. And now Bruce Arians is out there flirting around like, maybe I'll find somebody better. Who are you going to find that's better than Jameis Winston? You got Phillip Rivers, who's an older version, who is somehow less mobile than Jameis Winston. I know that you're like, hey, Jameis is more mobile than Phillip Rivers. Like, yeah, my toaster is more mobile than Phillip Rivers. Like, the thing is, it's like, I understand what they're doing. Like, yeah, you should go out and explore. But then you're like, we could have Marcus Mariota. We could have some other curtain jerkers. Unless it was Teddy Bridgewater or somebody like that coming down there. I think the best option is Jameis Winston. And I think with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, those two guys will continue to be top 10 wide receivers if Jameis stays there. So I just want to keep the status quo. I know the 30 interceptions are annoying, but you know what? He still won a lot of people, a lot of fantasy championships last year, so I'm willing to take that. You know, listen, everybody's got their faults. You know what I'm saying? Like, I sit next to you, Marcus, I talk a lot. Like, there's just some faults that you take. Like, sure, I'll give you free sunglasses, but then I'm going to sit there and quote Hot Tub Time Machine all day. Like, there's a lot of,
what's my fault, Adam Rank?
You have no faults.
Thank you.
Absolutely
Thank you. You just earned some
way to earn more camera time.
Speaking of a quarterback who kind of may have a few faults, Adam Rank just compared him to a toaster. What do we think about Phillip Rivers? Rank, I want to start with you. Where do you see him going?
I'm going to say Indianapolis. I think that would be a pretty interesting situation for him. Number one, they've got a great offensive line. They've got some other offensive weapons there that he would be able to take advantage of, guys like T.Y. Hilton, and he's got a relationship with Frank Reich. And I think that Phillip Rivers, he will probably look at some of the NFC teams, but I also think that staying in the AFC, having a little bit of familiarity with those teams that he's going to be facing for most of the time, I think that would kind of lend itself to. So I think this is a pretty good option for him. I know it's not exciting, but I think that this, and if he does go to Indianapolis, and let's say they signed a running back and they use some of that cap space, the Colts are one of the teams with the most cap space available. If they surrounded him with a lot of good players, similar to what he had in Los Angeles, I think he could end up being a low-end QB1.
Yep. Interesting. I kind of have Phillip Rivers also with the Colts. I think one thing to note with him going to the Colts and him fitting into the groove after being with the Chargers for quite some time is that he would be reunited with the offensive coordinator who spent 5 seasons with the Chargers. So that's kind of where you can fit back in and say, I know this is a guy, he probably has a similar playbook. I can get in, I can get slotted. That's just my take, Rake's take. Let's move it over to Marcus. Where do you see Mr. Rivers trash talking going?
Yeah, I think it's unanimous. I think he goes to Indianapolis. I think that's the best fit for him. I mean, I think for the Colts, the biggest thing that would improve them this year has nothing to do with, having a different quarterback might help, but one is just keeping their wide receivers healthy. I mean, that wide receiver group was decimated with injuries last year. But the biggest difference between Phil Rivers and Jacoby Brissett is that Rivers is willing to take more shots down the field. I mean, we laughed last year at his YOLO balls because a lot of them went to the wrong color jersey.
Yeah.
But the fact is, Jacoby Brissett was very cautious. He was very conservative, very much a lot of underneath check down stuff. So I'd love to see him sort of revive T.Y. Hilton's fantasy value if he goes there. And I honestly think if they can keep those receivers healthy, if you get Phillip Rivers taking those shots down the field, I don't know that they need to go add a running back. Marlon Mack was pretty good. It's just a lot harder to be effective when you have no real threat of a passing game. Phillip Rivers hopefully brings that back.
Let's move on to Mr. Ryan Tannehill. Standout kind of latter half of the season with the Titans. Now it's pretty open. Where is he going? Can the Titans, with a lot of cap space, have room to franchise tag Ryan Tannehill and keep him? What do you guys think? Marcus, I want to throw it off to you first.
Well, I already said that Tom Brady's going to go to Tennessee. So that means there's no room in this what? I don't know, how many horses does Nashville have? There's no room in that many horse town for both Tom Brady and Ryan Tannehill. So I see Ryan Tannehill, and Rank is either going to love this or he's going to hate this, but I think he goes to the Chicago Bears.
What?
Absolutely. Put him in Matt Nagy's offense. Ryan Tannehill and Mitchell Trubisky have a lot of the same skill set, except Tannehill's like, better. So why not put him there, give him a chance to run some of those RPOs, get him some bootlegs, get him out of the pocket a little bit, and then give him a chance to get... Plus, look, we all want Allen Robinson to have good things in life, right? Ryan Tannehill would easily be the best quarterback that Allen Robinson has played with in his career. So, let's let AR-12 have some nice things for once, huh?
This is so disrespectful.
What?
What? You hit the nail on the head. Ryan Tannehill and Mitch Trubisky are the same guys.
Except one's better.
No, not better.
You missed the last part.
He had like a 6-week stretch where he got lucky. If the Bears ran the ball as well as the Titans did down the stretch, and this is something that Kyle Long told me personally. He said if the Bears ran the ball as well as they did, Mitch would have been fine. And Mitch was very close to getting the Bears deep into the playoffs if Cody Parkey hadn't banked one off the upright.
Twice.
Who knows? Yeah, twice, a double doink. So the thing is, I think that why would you bring in a quarterback whose skill set is so similar? A veteran has to go to Chicago. That goes without saying.
Ryan
It can be
Tannehill.
Case Keenum. It could be Mark. Why would Tannehill want to do that? Tannehill's probably earned a paycheck somewhere. See, this is why I think Tannehill should
Mariota?
Mariota's fine. Like, he needs to go back and earn a job. Tannehill earned the job in Tennessee. Why wouldn't he stay there? At this point of their career, is Tom Brady really that much better than Ryan Tannehill? Like, you had some magic there. Go out and pay this guy. If you think that one of the reasons why your team was so successful last year was because of Tannehill, then pay him his money and then send him, then do it. Like that, I don't understand why they're involved with this flirtation with him. And I think, again, if Tannehill stays with the Titans, they bring in whoever the running back is, they'll be fine. A.J. Brown is coming on as a strong wide receiver. I think Tannehill won a lot of fantasy championships for people last year. He can do that again as long as they kind of come in with the same kind of mindset, the same kind of... I know it's dangerous to try to recapture the magic there, but excuse me. I'm sitting here having to defend Mitch, and it's causing me to choke up. And I have to say, Tannehill, for fantasy, for reality, you got to keep him in Tennessee.
All right, so you guys have heard from the three of us. Like I said, Kimmy Checks here, joined with Adam Rank and Marcus Grant. These are our Fantasy Frenzy fits for free agency. Make sure you follow us at NFL Fantasy on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And please like and subscribe down low. This was fun. We will see you next time.